I'm Buzz Kemper. I do a lot of audio work and announcing work for the Freedom from Religion Foundation, and it is my privilege to be able to be the first to welcome you to this convention. Thank you so much for being a part of this. Thank you so much for everything that you do to keep this thing rolling. And rolling it is. You're going to find out a lot about what FFRF has been up to. And so two things I need to do. One is I'm going to ask you to just make sure that your cell phones are silenced so that we don't get any interruptions there. And like my ringtone is set to a duck quacking, so it's just particularly disturbing when you're indoors. Like, how is this happening? And the second thing I get to do, which is a lot more fun, is I get to introduce two friends of mine, one of which you just heard at the piano. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the co-presidents of the Freedom from Religion Foundation, Dan Barker and Laurie Gaylor.
Thank you, Buzz.
Welcome to the 44th Annual National Convention of the Freedom from Religion Foundation. I'm Dan Barker.
I'm Laurie Gaylor, and we are, of course, co-presidents of the Freedom from Religion Foundation, and we want to thank all of you for being here. It is a beautiful sight from up here after a long year and a half of a pandemic, so thank you. And this is probably the largest in-person gathering most of us have been at, so it's pretty thrilling. And we are very glad to see you, faithful, faithless.
And we believe that freedom depends on freethinkers. Before we give our short year in review, Laurie and I, we want to introduce FFRF's Director of Operations, Lisa Strand, who oversaw, with a lot of staff support, the huge amount of details that went into making this convention possible. She's put in a lot of recent weekends and a lot of long days and long nights. So Lisa Strand, come on up and welcome.
Well, thank you, and thank you, Dan. Yes, I want to welcome you also. It is so good to see you all in person finally. And as Dan mentioned, it does take a team, including Laurie, who's responsible for the great lineup of speakers that we have for you. And of course, I do thank all of my colleagues who are here this weekend helping to keep things running smoothly and who helped keep me on track this year getting this planning done. They had all the fun. And I also want to thank the hotel staff and management for something they do not add to your rooms. No Bibles this year in your rooms. At least as they told me that they had abandoned that practice some time ago, and maybe there's a spare one laying around somewhere, but you shouldn't find any. So yay. And they've been just great to work with in addition to that. And of course, the most important part of the event is you. We do it all for you. We love seeing you. And let's find out where you're all from. I'm going to do the annual roll call of states. When you hear your place of residence, give a shout. There are about 585 people registered. And you're from 42 states, 2 territories, and 4 other countries in addition to the US. So very exciting. Oh, and I just want to mention too, just a couple things. Listening devices, if you're like me and your hearing's not like it used to be, there are listening devices out at registration. So take a moment to get those when you have a chance. And there's coffee in Statler until 10:30. Okay, the roll call of states, get ready. Alabama. Alaska, all right, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, District of Columbia, Florida, Georgia, Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Missouri, quality, Montana, Nebraska, Nevada, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, North Carolina, Ohio, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Puerto Rico, Rhode Island, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, Vermont, Virgin Islands, Virginia, Washington, Wisconsin, and Belgium, Canada, Japan, and the UK, specifically London. And Ivory Coast, all right, any others that I missed? Well, welcome everybody. I hope you get to meet each other and enjoy your time with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. So many of you know I used to be a preacher, but don't worry, we're not going to open with a prayer today. Instead, we're going to open with a brief land acknowledgement. The land that this hotel sits on was originally the home of Native Americans, including the Massachusetts, the Chappaquiddick, the Nipmuc, the Wampanoag, and other peoples. And since I'm a full member of the Delaware tribe, the Lenape tribe, let me read the land acknowledgement produced by the National Museum of the American Indians, of which I am also a founding member. We gratefully acknowledge the Native peoples on whose ancestral homelands we gather, as well as the diverse and vibrant Native communities who make their home here today.
So we have 17 staff members here, and they're listed at the back of your brochure. And many at some point will be up here to either present or introduce, or both. But so you meet everyone here. There are some who are strictly working behind the scenes that you won't see at this podium. You may have seen them at registration. But a quick shout out to Christina DeLeyden, Jackie Douglas, Stephanie Dyer, Greta Martins, Eleanor McEntee, James Fediplace, Lauren Searing.
We want to thank them and all the staff that are here, as well as FFRF board members you'll be meeting this weekend. We also want to thank the volunteers. They include the chapter leaders, Claudette St. Pierre, Alita Ledendecker, Jocelyn David Williamson, plus board members Sue Kocher, Cheryl Colby, and of course, in absentia, a dozen or so of our staff who are not here today, whose work is essential to FFRF's accomplishments. Other volunteers include Todd Peisig and Eric Lawrence, who are working the chances table in the back. So don't miss your chance to win the clean, pre-In God We Trust currency. You can buy chances for just $2 each, or 3 for $5, or today only 5 for $100, if you want to do it that way too. From Todd and Eric at the back table. It's a great way for you to end arguments with people who think God's always been on the money. You can pull out the money and show that that's actually not true.
And now we want to explain that the Gideons did not invade us.
So you probably noticed on your seat there's a copy of the book that was just published by FFRF this fall, It's called The Not So Good Book, What Does the Holy Bible Really Teach? It's by Brian Bolton, a longtime FFRF member and supporter. It's an arsenal of arguments for freethinkers, and it's illustrated by the Pulitzer Prize-winning Steve Benson, Pulitzer Prize-winning cartoonist.
So speaking of Steve Benson, this is a cartoon that he drew for FFRF that celebrates the fact that Pew Research shows that atheists are the most inoculated sector in the United States. And white evangelicals are the least. So this shows you the advantage of trusting in science, not you know who. And if you can read the bubble, it says, I hope this inoculates me from religion. And so we are pleased to announce that we are 100% vaccinated among all the staff, participants, attendees, speakers. And many of you are not just double vaccinated, you are triple vaccinated. How many are triple vaccinated? Let's get a, wow. So
I
great.
got my booster shot, but I don't feel any taller. I don't know. Huh? So FFRF membership is growing. Here is a historic chart that shows our growth since 1987. That's when I started reporting these numbers. You can see that in this last year, since a year ago, we've had a 7% growth, up from 33,000 a year ago to 35,503 on November 1st. So it might be a little bit more. And then if you just want a close-up of the last 10 years, we can zoom in to see the growth. We've had 105% growth since our 2011 convention in Hartford, Connecticut. So we've more than doubled in 10 years.
And we track sources, and of those sources that we know, 40% of our new members this past year came from viewing the Ron Reagan commercial that he made for us. So thank you, Ron. And it did air for the very first time this year on national CBS, which had refused it for years. It is still barred by ABC, NBC, and Science Discovery. But thanks to, can you believe it? But thanks to kind donors to our ad campaign, it ran about a dozen times on the national CBS this year on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. Also on Comedy Central's Daily Show, TBS's Full Frontal with Samantha Bee, and MSNBC's Rachel Maddow Show. So when I asked with some trepidation Ron if he would record this commercial for us back in 2014, I explained to him that we intended to have it run on 60 Minutes. CBS had approved a previous ad, so I had no idea that they were going to flip out. And so for the first time after 7 years of refusal, 60 Minutes has finally accepted it, and with your help, it will run in January, starting in mid-January, 4 Sundays in a row.
Say that again, the 4 Sundays.
It'll be mid-January, 4 Sundays in a row. And Ron this year offered to record a refreshed version of the ad. It still has all the iconic language. And our video director, Bruce Johnson, oversaw that. And he also asked Ron to record a slightly longer version for digital use talking about the ad. So let's play that, Bruce.
Hi, I'm Ron Reagan, an unabashed atheist.
When I first recorded that commercial back in 2014, being openly atheist in America was still fairly uncommon. Today, the fastest growing religious group in the country is the non-religious, especially among the young. That progress is heartening, but the religious pushback is fierce and the forces of Christian nationalism are well organized. Our progress won't continue unless we work together so that reason and our secular constitution will prevail. That's why I'm asking you to join the Freedom from Religion Foundation, the nation's largest and most effective association of atheists and agnostics working to keep state and church separate, just like our founders intended. Please join the Freedom from Religion Foundation today. Ron Reagan, lifelong atheist, not afraid of burning in hell.
Dan just turned to me and said, his father would have been so proud. On Bill of Rights Day in December 15, 2020, we ran this full-page ad in the New York Times, presciently warning that with the appointment of Amy Coney Barrett, the Supreme Court has effectively been stacked and packed against FFRF's issues and civil liberties. Our ad asked viewers to help roll back that clock on judicial doomsday. On the third-month anniversary of the January 6th insurrection, FFRF ran this full-page ad in the New York Times. We also sent all FFRF members a decal, E Pluribus Unum, to repopularize the original secular motto celebrating plurality and diversity and meaning from many come one. Early this fall, after the religiously inspired Texas abortion ban went into effect, we placed this ad in the New York Times, which is very timely considering our upcoming evening with Margaret Atwood tonight.
Coordinating with our educational and legal work to promote science during the pandemic, we placed several billboards in time for Darwin Day on February the 12th, including this one. Darwin says, "In science we trust." And we continue to promote vaccine mandates, and in particular working against the unnecessary counter-science religious exemptions. We also took aim at irresponsible megachurch preachers this fall. That billboard in Tennessee, as well as one targeting Joel Osteen in Houston, with messages that say, "Sleep in on Sunday." Of course, censorship of our ads continues. Our original billboard was going to say something different, but the billboard company refused to include it as we originally designed it. For some reason, "Sleep in on Sunday, celebrate reason" was just too much for them. We also placed this billboard, "Enjoy life now, there is no afterlife." That was also placed very close to the mega churches.
We also want to reach young people, and this year we're proud that FFRF has given nearly $100,000 in scholarships in our 5 essay competitions for free-thinking students. We do these for college-bound high school seniors, and we have them pictured. Then we go to the college students. And then we have a contest reserved for Black, Indigenous students of color who may enter any contest for their age or rank, but we have an extra contest for special encouragement. The award for graduate students is just being announced, so we don't have a slide for them, but here are our law student winners.
And then FFRF's Forward Free Thought Tuition Relief Scholarship is generously endowed by Lance Breadvold, a member. We're working with Black Skeptics Los Angeles and Sikivu Hutchinson, and this year we gave $20,000 divided among 5 students who are the first in their family to attend college, reserved for free-thinking students who are marginalized. And this includes Black, Indigenous students of color, LGBTQ, and homeless. And then FFRF and generous benefactors, in cooperation with the Secular Student Alliance, gave $19,500 in other student scholarships reserved for different majors, students going to historically Black colleges and universities, and for student activism. And this is a picture of 12-year-old Kylie Morgan, who received our Strong Backbone Award for speaking up against religious proselytizing in her health class.
And you're going to be meeting 4 of the top winners of our essay contest for Black, Indigenous students of color on Saturday, and extremely impressive, all of them. FFRF also was a $10,000 sponsor of the second Women of Color Beyond Belief Conference, co-directed by Mandisa Thomas and Sikivu Hutchinson, and Sikivu will be speaking tomorrow.
FFRF is an educational nonprofit, so we do a lot of educating, especially over the airwaves and on podcasts. We're in our 16th year of the weekly Free Thought radio program, broadcast right now over 10 stations and 9 metropolitan areas. And we produced more than 800 radio shows. That was the one from last week. Since 2006. The Free Thought radio broadcast also becomes a podcast. Some of you probably hear it as a podcast. And that podcast has had 9.4 million downloads since its beginning.
Our radio show is produced in the Stephen Yule Friendly Atheist Studio. We were heartbroken to lose one of FFRF's best friends this year, Stephen Yule, and there he is with his wife, Diane. And they are standing in front of one of the 2 wings named for them at Free Thought Hall. But Stephen Yule's Friendly Atheist Studio lives on. And it is used to produce the radio show as well as FFRF's Ask an Atheist Facebook Live program. And Ask an Atheist airs most Wednesdays at noon Central and showcases our staff and invited guests on timely topics of the day. And we have a picture of Bruce Johnson, our media, I forget what you're called, multimedia manager. I think of you as video producer. And you met Buzz, and they're in the actual engineering room. And
Also, Bruce is filming this event, and Buzz is helping it to sound good. Do I sound good, Buzz? We also produce the show Ask an Atheist. Bruce, you have something for us for Ask an Atheist, don't you?
Free Thought Matters is our TV show, and it airs in 13 cities. That's 27% of the U.S. market. All of the past shows for both Ask an Atheist and Free Thought Matters are archived on FFRF's YouTube channel, and we're going to show you a little sneak preview or a little teaser of Free Thought Matters shows.
You've come out as non-religious, as a member of Congress. In fact, you're the only elected official to publicly identify so far as a non-religious humanist. So why did you decide that it was important for you to say that publicly?
Well, I guess I'm kind of old school. I think we should just tell the truth. And there are a lot of fakers in the United States Congress, so that's really what it comes down to. People duck the question. There are a ton more non-believers. I'm not the only one. And there are a lot of people that pretend to be religious that really aren't. That's no surprise to you. So I just, found it all kind of distasteful and wanted to be a little more authentic with telling people what my personal moral framework is. Well, I consider myself a humanist. And honestly, I drifted for years without feeling like there was a framework or a label that I could feel good about. But the more I began learning about humanism, which, is kind of described as good without God, I came to feel that's exactly how I believe in following science and facts and leading a moral life where we look out for each other and try to do the right thing, not because we want an afterlife or, believe that some divine entity is telling us to do that, but because we as human beings believe it's the right thing to do.
What should secular voters be doing to make our voices heard going into these upcoming elections?
I think you should be demanding that candidates reaffirm the commitment to the separation of church and state. It's pretty much that simple. We are being dragged down the slippery slope of theocracy in so many ways. And it's very important, just as voters and as good citizens, that we call that out and say no with our vote, with our activism and good citizenship, hang on to that secular character of our government. I don't like to stoke fear. It can be misused, that particular tactic, but if fear motivates you to get out there and vote in the 2022 cycle, yeah, be afraid.
That was, yes, he deserves applause. That was U.S. Representative Jared Huffman, the only technically out non-believing member of Congress and founder of the Congressional Free Thought Caucus. And that's a sneak preview. His interview is airing this Sunday. But if you miss it, you can watch it anytime on FFRF's YouTube channel, and he is fabulous.
This year we lost a key figure of dissent and a supporter of the constitutional principle of separation between state and church. FFRF was excited to be gifted this exquisite bust of Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Send us to stand up. He's there.
And this statue now greets everyone who visits us at Free Thought Hall in Madison, Wisconsin. And the sculptor is here. Is Zenas somewhere here? Stand up, Zenas. Where are you? Zenas Frudakis? I know he's here somewhere.
You'll meet him.
Well, you'll meet him later because he's going to be giving some of the awards. But we just love this award.
Yeah. He's, excuse me. He is a world-renowned sculptor, And this is Zenas with his 12-foot maquette of Thomas Paine. And I noticed that there was a typo in one of the Ask an Atheist. Paine's a name was misspelled. Sorry about that. Sorry, Dan, can you read it?
So this is Zenas with the 7-foot maquette of Thomas Paine that he's working on for a statue to be a permanent memorial in Washington, D.C., and we'll keep you posted on that campaign to commemorate a true, free-thinking American patriot. If you listen to the radio, you realize she loses her voice about this time every morning.
I don't know why. So we have a Thomas Paine Memorial Association, and we are looking for a treasurer. So if you have that kind of credentials, see Margaret Downey. She's the president of the Thomas Paine Memorial Association. I'm a secretary. There's Margaret. And so we'll keep you posted on the progress in getting this memorial Thomas Paine finally up in Washington, D.C.
Finally, we're sad also that this year we lost one of our many distinguished honorary directors, the actor Ed Asner, known to many in our generation as Lou Grant, but to many younger people as the main character in the movie Up and as Santa in the movie Elf. Ed Asner died in August, but last year he did accept FFRF's Clarence Darrow Award, and so since that was remote, we want to show that video to you today that he recorded for that. We're playing it today in Memoriam of Ed Asner.
This is a beautiful award. My God, is it beautiful. He is so embodied here And being a junkman's son, I can tell you, this is good metal. This is fine metal. You can't get better metal than this unless you go to gold and silver and titanium, I suppose. But we won't go there. That's dross, because this comes from the heart. This is Clarence Darrow. I was with your group in Wisconsin, and I felt the same way there that I feel with you now. You were brave, wonderful people, so essential to a democracy such as America, which needs you badly. It's not easy to challenge religion in America, but it's most necessary, very necessary. And I want to say that as Darrow, who I played in the Scopes trial, which I toured with for a few years there, and as he put it so bluntly, he said, the most humane thing we can do is to comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable. Keep doing it. You're setting a great example for all freedom lovers. Thank you.
So that concludes our part of the report. In a minute, we are going to introduce our highly productive legal and strategic response teams. But we owe this all to you, our members. And just a heads up for next year at the convention, it's going to take place in San Antonio, where it was intended to take place last year. We had to redo the contract. And the theme of it will be Do Mess with Texas.